What's up, guys? PokePsota here, and I got a short video. It's gonna be it's gonna be pretty short. So, what the video is gonna be about is the reprints. All reprints people are talking about, short prints, uh, staggered releases, all this stuff. It just gets so mind numbing. Now, let's talk about short prints. That's the one that just is just eating people up right now. I've got an email about it or two. I've talked to people in the stores about this, and I've waited at releases. A short print, there is no such thing as short print. Okay. I think what people mean about a short print is they just never got a reprint. It's the term short print. It's like they're like, hey, usually we run the printing machines 12 hours. Today we're going to do them 6 hours. It's just not the case. So sometimes the products do get a lower print run, and it's because they just didn't get a reprint, is what happens. So let's talk about some of the reprints that we have got. For the people that talk about prismatic evolutions, that thing's been getting reprinted a ton to the point it's like Crown Zenith. This going on. I just seen some restocks in my area this last week where they had Crown, or not Crown Zenith, but Prismatic Evolution 3 packs in the toy section. I mean, they had two full cases of them about. So there's like 24 of them in each store. So Prismatic's getting printed and or not, it got reprinted at some point quite a bit. That's why the ETBs are coming out. Best Buy just did an ETB drop. And the SPCs. My gosh, we're going to talk about the SPCs. Okay. Now, Surging Sparks, it had a reprint as well because the price of the booster box went down because more hit the market. So these are the things you see that get reprinted. Now, Ascended Heroes, for instance, has not had a reprint. It was not short printed either. It had a staggered release. Okay. Now, the staggered release, there's a lot of different reasons of why people do it or why they think Pokemon's doing it. Okay. Personally, the reason I think Pokemon's doing that is because when they stagger release this stuff, it's going to build up anticipation. The market stays hot longer. I think Pokemon does it on purpose. If they were to release everything all at once in that first week, it's going to give people the opportunity to say, hey, do I want this or do I want this? Okay. Especially if you go to some stores where there's people waiting because, you could be the asshole that takes everything on the shelves, but, people usually try to share. So I think that's why Ascent Heroes had somewhat of a staggered release. Now, take a look at Perfect Order. Perfect Order just had its second wave. Okay. Staggered release, second wave. Those are different things. Okay. A second wave means it's going to be similar to what came out during the release. The second wave just happened for Perfect Order. ETBs, okay. A lot of people got their second round of ETB cases, and then the booster boxes. So that's the second wave of it is what it is. Okay. So they already printed all that stuff. It was just sitting there, and they released it later on. Technically about 3 weeks after the release date. So Ascended Heroes with the stagger release, especially stats, you can start to see that. And people can be as upset about this as they want. But a stagger release, they did it for Prismatic. Prismatic had a stagger release the whole damn time. The SPC came out way later, okay? Then think about the figure collection box. The figure collection box came out super late, okay? Surprise box, all those, like, they didn't come out all at once. And so stagger releases, they've happened. They really have. So some other things to think about too is like let's just take a look here. Okay. We got some stuff here. We got temporal forces. Okay, so what came out of rotation? What is rotation? Rotation is something Pokemon does where they let cards. They technically are going to quit printing a set because they need to have the TCG game start to catch up with the new cards. So, for instance, if I am playing a deck that has Scarlet and Violet base, Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, 151, guess what? That stuff's out of rotation. Happened this month. I can still play those cards all I want. I just can't play them for tournament play. I can play cards from 1999 if I want. I could go back and be like, you know what? I really feel like some XY base. I need to throw that in my deck. You can. That's fine. You just can't use it for tournament play. Okay. So if you want to earn points towards a league or earn points if you're playing a tournament, it doesn't count. So that's why they take them out of rotation. The TCG trading card game, that is what Pokemon is. It's more of a collector than a TCG. People can get that mixed all they want, but With the TCG aspect of it, they take these cards out of rotation. Now, if people say like it's not a collector's thing, it's just for trading card games, it's the game, that's not true. Okay. If I have the Perfect Order Meowth SIR or the Full Art or the EX, they all do the same damn thing when you're playing the game. So that's why it's collector. You have these cards that are SIRs that are very collectible. If you want to bling out your deck, that's all you're doing. You're making your deck look fancy because you have some SIRs in there. Okay. So the thing with short print, people get confused. I'll tell you the last things I would consider a short print. I do quotes on there because that's what people do sometimes. Temporal Forces. I remember only one wave of that coming out. I'd never seen a second wave of it. Okay. So I think they only printed it once. They never had a reprint. Shroud Fables, another one. Shroud Fables, when this came out, and let's take a look at when this came out. August 1st of 2024. So this should have came out around that September thing. It would have been a great Halloween set for October, but it came out August 1st of 2024. Now, Shroud Fables and then Stellar Crown. This one right here is when things started getting pretty hyped because you had the Squirtle and the Bulbasaur. Okay. Um, this was September 12th. The one that got stuff going was Surging Sparks. This was in November. So November 7th is when it was. This is when things started going crazy where everything was selling out. You couldn't get Surging Sparks, Pokemon Center ETBs anymore, sold out online. And then you had Prismatic that followed that. So that is why I think Temporal Forces did not get a reprint, nor did Shrouded Fables. So technically you could say those were short prints because there was fewer of them printed. Now, Stellar Crown, it did get a reprint. I bought a Stellar Crown booster box last summer for $200 on Walmart.com because they dropped a ton of them. Okay. It definitely did have a reprint. Another one you'd see too is Twilight Masquerade. Well, where did all the Twilight Masquerade booster boxes go? They didn't. They sold them all in ETB format. ETBs were flooding the shelves at every Walmart. Okay. They still are. So you can still find them when they do a restock. They only last a day or two, but they're still there. So those, Twilight Masquerade definitely got more printed. Stellar Crown did. Surging Sparks just did. Okay. Now we go to Prismatic. Prismatic's been getting printed nonstop, guys. Prismatic, you can find it anywhere. Anywhere. Okay. 3-packs. They're loaded up in the toys all the time when they do a restock. Now, Journey Together, we haven't seen that second print yet. There hasn't been a reprint of this. Destined Rivals, no reprint yet. Black Bolt White Flare, absolutely there was a reprint. What did we just see in Sam's Club like every other week, the last month and a half? They dropped these in there. Those are a reprint, guys. They weren't going to make booster boxes because this didn't have a booster box. It's a specialty set. Destined Rivals, Europe is they're getting plummeted with them. They're getting shit on by Destined Rivals because they did a reprint on them. Journey Together, that's one we haven't heard about. Why would Journey Together not have a reprint? Probably because the cards that are really helpful in Journey Together, they put them all in battle decks. Okay? Now, when we start looking at some of the other stuff, they got to think, well, how do we produce some of these other things? Well, Ascended Heroes and Perfect Order, I don't think you're going to see a bunch more of this getting printed right now because I think there's still a lot to be distributed. Ascended Heroes with the booster bundles dropping, booster bundles are going to help calm the fire a little bit, but I mean, it's still a $10 to $12 pack, $12 pack most places. So, Ascended Heroes, it's still crazy. It's a $7,000 set. Okay. So, you just have to, have your piece with that. Now, Phantasmal Flames, Pokemon Center did drop something the other day. Down here in the right-hand corner, I already signed up for it, but it says you can sign up for SMSs, text messages. You basically get a text message, your number, you reply with a Y, just for a yes, and then it'll give you a code when something drops. It'll give you a push notification, let you know something's dropping, and then you'll have a code so you can check out with that code. So makes it a lot easier. Like the website won't get bombarded because you'll have this code saying, hey, if you want this product, here you go. So we'll see how this works. Will this, deter bots for a little bit? I think it will for a little bit, but not forever. Okay. Now, some other things we have to think about too when we're going through all this stuff is what is left to be printed again. I don't know that you're going to see Surging Sparks right now, 3-packs of these, the booster, half booster bundles, wherever they are. They're in Walmart every week. Surging Sparks had a big reprint. If you don't have your Surging Sparks, now's the time to get it. I don't think you're going to see it again. Okay. Now, some of the other stuff I'd like to talk about too is your Destined Rivals. Booster bundles were printed here in the US, but that's been about it. So I don't know. But that's kind of like my rant. All right. So short print, not a thing. reprints are happening, and they have been happening, but stuff gets cleaned off so fast you just don't see it. PokePlumber, I thought was totally wrong the other day in his video, respectively. He talked about how Pokemon bought this shipping company, the printing company, Excel brand, all this stuff, and they did it just because they didn't want someone else to do it. Not true. Like Pokemon Company's doing this because they want to control the outcome. If they're selling something to a distro for $30 and distro's like, hey, it's going for market like 180, so let's sell it to the other people for like 150. We'll make a bunch of money. The LGS will make a little bit. Pokemon's going to try to curb this. They're going to slap the actual distros on the wrist, I think, and try to do something. SPCs though, a non TCG just did talk about this, that about 200,000 of these are going to be dropped in the US. So we'll see what happens there. I think distro, if they get their hands on them, they're going to sell them for 250 to the LGSs, and then they'll sell them for 300. So market's at 350 right now. Do I think this will put a dent in it? Yeah, I think it will. I think 250 to 275 is what the SBC will sell for. See these at Costco and Sam's Club, I think, coming up too. Best Buy, it won't matter. They'll have a Best Buy like sign up for a thing and see if you win. But that's kind of all I've got. So that's my rant, guys. Remember, PokePsota, like and subscribe. If you got any questions, if you disagree with something, leave a comment down below. I love to interact with everybody. So remember, guys, PokePsota, like, subscribe, and as always, catch them all.